Wednesday in the shop, and no, you didn't miss anything. I literally have not recorded anything until now. Sunday, I got back from Florida. Oh, Monday, I had to clean up my shop, and I hurt my back again, getting the stuff unloaded. We got the plastic unloaded, put into the barn, and then yesterday, I spent all day finishing up my wood shop and getting everything in the shop organized for the Bronco and stuff, big job coming. From this point on, I am booked out for the next 2 to 3 weeks with no room to spare, and I'll be running probably 12-hour days every day from this point on. So yeah, it's gonna be misery coming up. But today I've got this 2006 Jeep Wrangler LJ in here, getting a head unit, 4 speakers, a sub amp, and a backup camera. The backup camera I'm going to figure out because they had me order the backup camera for the spare tire, and this Jeep does not have a spare tire on the back. This is also lifted with no foot or side steps, so for a short fat guy like me, I hate these vehicles. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them a lot. And because everybody knows I hate these vehicles, it's amazing they keep bringing them to me. I have Wranglers constantly here, and I do not make it at all a secret that I hate these vehicles. I hate them when they're jacked up like this and they don't have side steps, they don't have grab handles. It just makes it so hard to work on this. But it's here, it needs to get done. I need to have it done by tomorrow because the Bronco is supposed to be coming tomorrow or Friday. So let's go ahead and get started. So the amp is gonna go in the center console. This is where the factory subwoofer was. So I've removed the enclosure, the factory sub enclosure. As you can see, my amp isn't gonna quite sit. So I'm gonna cut away the plastic so I can sink this amp into there. Then we'll put it back in here and the amp will get its air circulation and everything right there. And that will have that settled. Then it's just a straight up head unit, 4 speakers, run the wiring for the amp through the center console, sub enclosure in the back. All right, and here we have the amp mounted in the enclosure. So that's gonna go right there where the factory sub was supposed to be. Worked out pretty well, used plastic, made a base, then have the plastic heated, bench it up there so I could actually get the screws in. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and wire up the power, the ground, the RCAs. I'll run them all out this factory location where that harness is going. Then we'll run it all forward. That way this can be mounted back in the vehicle and be done. I wanted to point out that he had a radio already installed in this car. And this is a Jensen. And I just wanted to point out how adorable this was when I took it out. This is so adorable. Look at this thing. The sleeve is literally larger than the entire radio. And there's the subwoofer, which I'm not sure why it came like that. I'm gonna have to try and clean that off. That's how it came out of the box. I'm not real happy about that, but it is a ported single 10-inch sub enclosure. So I'll have it mounted there. So the port is right here. All right, and we've got the center console back in. There's the amplifier mounted where the factory sub was. The rear speakers have been removed. The radio that was in here, the cute little Jensen, has been removed, and the front speakers have been removed, and the power wire has been ran up to the engine. That's gonna be that for Wednesday. I'm gonna go ahead and get home. I think it's about 7:30. Go home, get some dinner, watch a little TV, get up, get this thing buttoned up tomorrow, then get prepared for the big, ridiculous Bronco job. All right, so we've got the Diamond Audio 6.5s up above. We've got the radio installed. So we've got the Sony high-powered deck. And down here, we've got the bass knob and the USB port. And we also have the Diamond Audio 5 1/4s mounted in place of the 4x6. So we need to run the 8-gauge power wire for the amplifier over here to the battery. And then we also have a power and ground in that black jacket. That's actually for the radio, because on the high powered decks, you have to run the constant and the ground to the battery, or the ground to chassis, but the constant has to go to battery. Reason being is because it's a high powered deck, it draws more than 15 amps of current. So if you try to hook it up to your factory harness, you're just gonna blow the factory fuse. And if you wanna get the full power out of the radio, you wanna come off the battery. It'll let you know too if you don't have enough power, because once you turn the volume up, it'll get to a certain point and the radio will just shut off. Then once I get that wired up there, I can test the radio, make sure it comes on, make sure the amp comes on. Then I gotta run this camera wire. I gotta run it up through here, get it in the back door and have it ready for when they do get the spare tire carrier put on here. Back here, we've got the sub. It's in a Q-Bomb Rhino lined box, ported 10-inch, and it's the Diamond Audio Shallow Mount 10. We've also got the wiring ran into the back tailgate here. And once they get their new spare tire holder, the camera, I'll give it to them. They can put it in or they can come back to me, but right there's the plug. You'll just plug it in and then the camera mounts on the spare tire's lugs. And that's all taken care of and ready to go. I imagine you want to hear it. It honestly exceeded my expectations. I really didn't expect to have the sub perform as well as it is. The Sony high-powered decks, they do phenomenal. I love those things, they're great. So I knew the mids and highs were gonna be on point. The subs are always questionable, especially in the soft top Wrangler, but it sounds great.
I work overtime to maximize my chances. Know my flavor about the pops like that orange fence.
For being a soft top, especially, it's hard to get bass because everything that gets absorbed by the soft top.
They do a lot of talk. I am Mitchell 45. They do a lot of talk. I just show up.
So yeah, sounds good. Call the customer, let them know. They can come pick it up. And next up, this is gonna be like a 2-week build. So you're not gonna see this completed in a week. So this is gonna be like a build log. So for the next couple weeks, pretty much everything that I'm gonna be covering is gonna be on this Bronco. This is getting the biggest setup I've ever done in a Bronco, which I've done more Broncos than any shop in the United States. Hands down, it's already been decided. Every place I've ever talked to, every distributors, I became the Bronco guy somehow. So this right here, saying it's gonna be getting the biggest I've done is quite a big say because I've done so many. But this guy stepped up and dropped the cheddar to where he basically rented my shop. For the next 2-3 weeks, this guy owns my shop. And it's gonna be a fun build and it's gonna be badass. So I think that's gonna be the end of it. That is Thursday in the books. So I'm gonna go home, call it the night, and get rested up. So tomorrow I can get started on that Bronco, clear-headed, rested. It's design time, and then grind out all the basic stuff that I know what I'm gonna already do. And then on the back end, we'll get all the fabrication work going. So, later.
Hey, what's up? Cape Sipes Custom Audio Reimagined. It's exactly a week now that I've been laying on my back. So, yeah, life pretty well sucks ass. But I'm getting ready to leave here in about an hour to go to Indy, to Ortho Indy, to the hospital, to see if they're actually going to give me some kind of injection or put me down. They might put me out of my misery. We'll have to see. But they're supposedly going to give me an injection. I can't even imagine how awesome it would be to be able to go back to work tomorrow. To be able to go to the shop and actually work would be amazing. To the point now where I can't really stand up from my living room to my kitchen. Pretty much I have to run as fast as I can to lay down because the pain is so bad. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.